This is what your favorite D&D race says about you as a player. Remember, this is all in good fun, unless you're trying to roast one of your party members. If that is the case, then everything I said is canon regardless of your campaign setting or homebrew rules. If your favorite race is Aasimar, you definitely think you are the main character. The truth is that your relationship with the deity is more than likely a curse and not a blessing, because now you have all the baggage of divine judgment with none of the class features. You might as well double down and become a paladin or a cleric, because everyone is just going to assume that is what you are anyways. If your favorite race is a Dragonborn, everyone already knows because you never stop talking about them. We get it. A playable dragon race that can breathe fire and fly sounds cool as hell. Too bad you'll never actually be able to do any of those things reliably. You probably won't even get a tail. If your favorite race are dwarves, you probably love your ale like you like your women, stout and bitter. You'll argue that you play dwarves because they have the best cities, but all your party will ever find are ruins. Honestly, dwarf players seem to have a lot in common with their characters. They don't know when to stop digging themselves a bigger hole, and it leads to a lot of trouble. If your favorite race are elves, you probably think your character is better than everyone else. Sure, you'll probably outclass and outlive everyone else in the party, but you have to remember that elves excel at everything besides being likable and being punctual, which are two of the most important things to have if you want to be a good party member. If your favorite race is gnomes, you probably are always asking the dungeon master if you can make a nuke. It doesn't matter if you use magic or machines for your crazy plans. Either way, reality bends to your will. Your only redeeming feature is that you aren't trying to convince people you're a good person, unlike the halfling player. If your favorite race is Goliath, you want people to see you as strong and confident, even if you aren't, and letting your characters lift large weapons to hit even larger monsters. The rest of the party appreciates your character tanking most encounters, but they don't appreciate all the yelling you're doing at the table. If your favorite race are halflings, you are genuinely the most devious member of the party. You want to be able to pull off crazy schemes and hate the accountability that a bad roll can provide to your shenanigans. The only reason you're willing to play a cutesy and small creature is because it puts you within ankle-biting range. If your favorite race is humans, you're either a newbie or a grizzled veteran. Either way, you want to play a regular person that can somehow defeat even the most fearsome creatures in the monster manual. Yeah, the extra feat helps you make a lot of versatile builds, but none of that matters when you can pick up a large sword and start swinging. People will call you boring, but they won't call you weak. If your favorite race is half-elves, you are too indecisive and need to have some conviction. You'll try to convince everyone that you're narratively complex for playing a mix of the two most basic races with the most overlap between each other. Obviously no one will believe you though, because the only downside to being a half-elf is that you'll never be able to grow a full beard. If your favorite race is half-orcs, you probably like the idea of a sensitive brute a little too much. Yes, you can be both fierce and fabulous, but does every half-orc character need to look like they are on the cover of your latest romance novel? At least half-orc players can argue that their characters are a bit more narratively complex than their half-elf counterparts. It doesn't make it any less annoying though when they expect the party to feel bad for their backstory. If your favorite race are orcs, you likely decide that half-orcs weren't big and dumb enough to truly embody your character. You may think that playing them with your own spin is a fun way to subvert expectations, but if there's one thing that is true about orcs, it's that no one can really agree on how they act. It doesn't matter if you play them as noble savages or berserking raiders. As long as they are still strong and shirtless, it has been done before. If your favorite race is tieflings, you likely want everyone to acknowledge how edgy your character is. The only problem is that the entire party is full of murderous orphans. You having a bad relationship with your parents isn't unique. The fact that someone in your family was a literal hellspawn does suck, but that doesn't mean that you now have free reign to make everyone else's life miserable. If your favorite race is changelings, you're just saying that you want to play a dozen different characters and knew that the rest of the party would get annoyed with you if you kept switching them. If you thought it was annoying when the half-elf talks about how different their two different homelands are, just get ready for a new story each session about a changeling's past identity. If your party ever gets caught by the town guard, I guarantee you that your changeling will disguise themselves as another guard and let you guys rot in jail without a second thought. If your favorite race is Drow, then you probably love high fashion and low morals. Sometimes a bad person can join the good guys for a bit because of a shared goal, but don't think that just because your character's presence is tolerated in the party, it means that the party likes them. Everyone wants to claim that they're playing a character that isn't like the other Drow, but the moment another party member grabs the magic item that you wanted, we'll see how chaotic good you really are. If your favorite race is Firbolgs, you probably love nature but hate the ego that a wood elf character would bring to the table. Pay attention to the road hippie, and make sure to stick with the rest of the party instead of wandering off to smell the flowers. And I know you're supposed to be a gentle giant, but you better be ready to throw hands when the party needs you. The only thing that your teammates will hate more than a pompous elf is a pacifist. If your favorite race is a Genasi, your least favorite race is a different type of Genasi, because you treat the elements like they're a team sport. In a world where there's already like 8 schools of magic and 13 damage types, does it really matter which of the 4 elements you are? Half of people pick their element based on vibes over resistance anyways. I fear the day that a Genasi player comes to me and asks if they can play a hybrid of 2 elements, because then I'll have to start coming up with random gibberish names like Magic the Gathering did. I don't want that. If your favorite race is goblins, you are choosing violence and chaos whenever you can. You have all the tools to be clever, sneaky, and inventive, and you will abandon all of that in a heartbeat if you think that screaming and shrapnel will get you there faster. For every successful goblin plan, there are about a dozen that went up in flames. You may take those odds every time, but the rest of the party probably doesn't have the same death wish. If your favorite race is a Lizardfolk, you like role-playing all the traits of a psychopath without being labeled as a serial killer. While other players will try to interact with the world to develop their characters, a Lizardfolk only really wants to know what everyone's flesh tastes like, and for some reason that is accepted by the party. The next time someone's pet dies in-game, I challenge you to have the characters skin and eat it when no one is looking and see how the party reacts. It is only funny when the Lizardfolk does it, but horrific if anyone else does it. If your favorite race is a Tabaxi, you have no impulse control, and you want to make it seem like good role-playing. I get you want to be devious, but if you were more clever, you'd play a Halfling. And if you were more theatrical, you'd play a Tiefling. Just admit that you want to play a furry race, and I'll let it slide at my table. If your favorite race is Warforged, there's a good chance you love combat but hate social interactions. This may be the only race that you can get away with remaining quiet during the majority of conversations, and have zero backstory to your character while still being considered a good role player. That air of mysteriousness will go away after a while though, so you and the Warforged are going to have to develop a personality eventually. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you feel called out, then I'm glad that you're able to realize that I was right about everything. If your favorite race wasn't in this video, or maybe you wish that the roast was a little more in-depth, be sure to subscribe to the channel because I have an entire playlist of full-length roasts. The best way to help the channel grow is to hype this video, and leave a comment below saying what I got right or wrong about your favorite fantasy race. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video. Farewell for now. I wanted to give DnD Dice a shout out, my favorite dice shop and where half of my paycheck goes to every month. They've got a lot of options, including their original 11-piece dice sets that they call the King of Crits series. Be sure to use the code LootGoblin to support the channel at dnddice.com, or you can just click the link down in that video description and it'll be added when you check out with your favorite dice. As an edgelord myself, my favorite collections are the Plague Doctor and Blood Hunter 11-piece sets, which I use alongside their Tomb of the Lich dice tower.